Good morning and welcome to today's Cleantech Podcast with Cleantech stock news and interviews with thought leaders. Learn about today's problems and solutions for the future.
Welcome to today's edition of the Cleantech Podcast. Today I am speaking with Steven Rossi, CEO of Worksport Ltd. Worksport trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol WKSP. For disclosure purposes, this podcast may contain forward-looking statements. Please read all disclaimers and disclosures at the end of the show. This podcast is a sponsored advertisement with Worksport Ltd.
Steven, so great to have you on the show. For our listeners and investors that are new to the story, can you tell us a little bit about Worksport and the history from startup to now revenue?
First, thanks for having me, Cali, and I appreciate it. Second, Steve Rossi, I'm the CEO and founder of Worksport. High level, I'm in my mid-30s now, started my first business at the age of 18, and that's what led me to start Worksport. So I started an automotive parts company, and then in my early 20s, I fell in love with tonneau covers, so I sold that business, founded Worksport, invested everything I had then into Worksport, and I've never really looked back. So Worksport's been around since 2011, so a number of years. We really only experienced breakout recently because there's been a big, long work in progress. So I've got over 20 years of business experience building businesses from the ground up, never taking no for an answer. So I have tenacity. And what's interesting too is I've got over 10 years, almost 11 years capital markets experience. So Worksport has actually been public for quite some time. And I've been involved in capital markets, so Wall Street, for 10 years or 11 years. So I'm very, very well aware of being able to navigate, capital raising and share structure and cap structure and stock price and all of the things that are often tripping points for unexperienced CEOs in building businesses.
Can we dive a little into how many different products you have under Worksport right now and what you offer?
Sure, yeah, happy to. So Worksport originally was an importer of tonneau covers for pickup trucks. So let me define what that is. The pickup truck is like a Ford F-150 or GMC Sierra, which happens to be the number one selling vehicle on the roads. There's 60 million pickup trucks on U.S. roads. Upper income earning households, those households that earn over $200,000 a year, the vehicle that's most driven by those households, Ford F-150. So we're in the right place at the right time. So we make bed covers for those pickup trucks. So number one selling vehicle is a pickup truck, and the number one accessory for them is the cover that covers the cargo bed, the back box of the pickup trucks. We make soft covers that we still presently produce overseas in China, although we are planning on making those products domestically. And we have, from where I sit here today, a beautiful 250,000 square foot factory in Western New York, where we produce all-American hard folding tonneau covers. So the gear that people really want, that aluminum, tough, durable, dent-resistant, scratch-resistant tonneau cover is made here. So we have two different soft covers, and we have one different hard cover. That's presently. A little bit in the future, so in the next few weeks, we're going to be launching a second hardcover line called our Worksport AL4, which is a cover that stands up against the back window. Very exciting. Sells like 20 times to 1. So 20 times the volume that kind of cover sells. So we're expecting a huge pop in revenues. And then we also have forthcoming a solar folding tonneau cover called the Soless and a Core, which is a battery generator. Think of a gas generator without the gasoline. So we have in total, that's 6 products. 3 of which are coming, 3 of which we're about to launch, like literally are in the midst of launching now, and 3 that are existing in market.
You just announced that your cover for Rivian is with your solar tonneau cover. Let's talk about that and just the solar capabilities of that. I think from what I read on your website, there's up to 60 laptops that you could charge through that.
Rivian R1T is a fantastic truck, and Rivian is growing immensely as a company. So we hold them in high regard. What we understood is they launched their R1T pickup truck with a factory rolling cover that was produced by a factory in Michigan, or a company in Michigan that had no experience making tonneau covers. So they kind of guessed their way through it. That cover was discontinued. That's how bad it was. So the proof is kind of right there in the fact that it was discontinued. So now Rivian owners don't have a cover for their truck. So the Rivian owners will kind of go anywhere, do anything, big outdoors, big adventure, but they're also big price tags. So we're producing tonneau covers for the Rivian. So we just announced that we're in kind of final stage developments of all of our tonneau covers to cover Rivian R1T trucks. We've had a lot of interest. Most notably is we're producing a solar folding tonneau cover, the Soless, to fit a Rivian. That should be out in let's say in the next handful of weeks. And that'll offer the Rivian owner, it won't allow them to charge their Rivian yet, unless we integrate with Rivian directly. But what it will allow them to do is turn their truck into a roaming power station. So when they're, at the job site or the campsite, they can generate a lot of power. The cover should produce somewhere in the mid 400 watt range. And 400 watts is, enough to charge laptops numerous times, to run job sites and air compressors, small air compressors or power tools and these types of things.
I really want to talk a little bit about the Soless and COR because I feel like that's probably one of the bigger topics, and the possibilities and potential for that is massive. I mean, the solar industry, I think in 2023 was 163 billion kilowatts, and they're projecting 286 billion for 2025. The capabilities of your Soless and COR, I just feel is such the right timing and such a good potential for these young millennial investors that are jumping into that ESG and clean tech space, but still want to have a truck and, feel like they're a guy driving, going camping.
Yeah, that's the idea as well. So some stats about our Solus is when it's integrated with an electric truck. So if we were to make a partnership with Ford, for example, and then connect our solar tonneau cover to that truck, it'll provide around 8 to 10 miles a day. Now, 8 or 10 miles, let's call it in Canadian, let's call it like 15, 16 kilometers, is about 30% of the average commute every day for the average person in North America. So to disconnect that vehicle from the grid, 30%, which is that's the biggest vehicle, it's the most power hungry, to disconnect it from the grid, 30% is really meaningful. Also, if there's natural disaster, the power goes out, it's the only source of real passive power you're going to get for that vehicle to be able to move it to safety or, wherever you need to go. So the Solus is really exciting in the opportunity for the future where it could charge electric vehicles. But for those that turn a normal vehicle, like an F-150 gas truck, for example, the most popular truck out there, they turn it into a roaming power station. And that's where it's like job site, campsite. You have a solar cover, you have a battery generator, and you're a roofer, or you're a first responder, or you're a volunteer, or you're a drone photographer. You have a roaming microgrid with you everywhere you go so that you don't have to, worry about running extension cords or having gas generators. Last fact that I'll state is during hurricanes, one of the leading causes of death and hospitalizations, we've just seen a few big hurricanes hit the US. Interesting fact here is that most of the hospitalizations and deaths are from carbon monoxide poisoning or carbon dioxide poisoning, because a lot of homes run out of power, so they're running gas generators. And people are becoming poisoned by the fumes from the gas generator. So with our battery technology, you better believe that when we have it out very soon, the next natural disasters that happen, our battery generators are going to be providing clean, quiet power to those that need it the most. So we're very excited about the opportunity.
What have you seen so far as your best-selling product so far? And then, as you've just mentioned that you have a couple new covers coming online, do you feel one of them is going to really be in the lead for the next quarter of the year or coming into 2025?
So, I mean, the biggest traction we've had is our AL3 tonneau cover, which is a 3-panel. And it's been very successful because it's completely made in America. So there's a little bit of a side rant. There's 3 different types of businesses: good, not so good, and just bad. I'll start with bad. Bad businesses are foreign-owned businesses that sell foreign-made products into North America. That it just sucks like a vacuum the money right out of the economy, right? Because it's foreign owned, so that all the money that they make goes out of the economy, and then it's foreign made, so it's not even producing much for the economy here. Then there's companies like Walmart that are American owned or domestically owned, and then they're foreign produced products. So it's like some of it comes and some of it goes the money. Our AL3 is American sourced, American made, American produced. It's completely American, where the resin for the paint that we use comes from American soil. So every dollar, completely snowballs in the US or domestic, at least, economy. So the AL3 is like the perfect product. And that's why it's been so widely accepted, because it's a domestic product. It's made and manufactured using domestic materials. The AL4 that's coming out in some very soon, like we think December 15th, that's going to be the same. It's going to be a much more innovative cover. So think about the difference between, a car with manual windows and a car with power windows. It's just like a luxury tonneau cover. So we think that the AL4 is going to be our short-term winner, but long-term, I believe our power electronics divisions, which is the Soless and COR that I've spoken about today, and you can see all this information on our website, anyone that's interested. But the Soless and COR is going to be probably the most exciting for sometime like mid to late next year.
I want to switch gears and move into the stock side and just talk about the company, where you guys are at, burn rate, capital structure. Just give us kind of a little overview for investors that are interested on the technical side.
The company's annual sales, last year we had a $1 million a year. This year we have $1 million in sales every month, and that's growing. And then, we're thinking that the next step for us is $1 million weeks. So we went from 1 million in sales totally to 12 plus $1 million run rate. And then we're targeting 50 million and then hundreds of millions of dollars. And we think that we're going to get there pretty soon. Cash flow positivity is critical. But what's interesting is that our market cap, the valuation of the company alone was basically the value of our real estate property. We own this 250,000 square foot factory here in Western New York. We fully own it. It's ours. All the equipment, the building, the assets, everything. And the value of all of those goods was higher than the market cap. So we think that we've been extremely undervalued in the marketplace. Because of my over decade of experience in the capital markets, I know how to protect equity treasury as well as cash treasuries. I know how to save money and get things done on a shoestring, but I also know how to make sure that I avoid unnecessary dilution. I don't have convertible notes or derivative liabilities. So we have a very clean cap structure. We have somewhere in the mid 20 million shares issued and outstanding, and fully diluted, we get up to in the mid 30 millions, but that includes a lot of options for management, options for, incentivizing the management team, our production staff here. We have near 100 people working here. So our valuation's been low, although recently in the market, I think that we've had some corrections, which is really positive to see. The upside for investors is very strong because we're targeting, 50 to $100 million in sales in a very short period of time. I think that we'll start seeing, instead of 70 cents, we're targeting $7 and then maybe $70. I think that there's a lot of upside opportunity for us. What I will say in terms of burn rate, we just were able to save $2 million a year in annual expenses. We just cut almost 20% of our annual expenses because we just started. So we were the least efficient. We had the most amount of engineers and one-time consultants. We've cut $2 million in expenses. So that's 20% less expenses every year in operational overhead. So we're going to reach cash flow positivity and profitability much sooner now.
You got an extension for your NASDAQ price, so I feel like, that de-risks the story as well.
Yeah, we have until April of next year to get above $1, and I am not losing a lot of sleep over that at all, to be honest with you. I really think that we're gonna never look back. The market's been turmoil, but there's a lot of signs of life coming into it. We were once before $100 million market cap, way before, and I think we're gonna get to that and much more once again. Also, Cali, just to mention that we have like near 200 patents and trademarks. I mean, we have a huge intellectual property portfolio, and that's all value that investors get when they invest in us.
I love that. We've spoke a little bit about your background. Do you want to talk a little bit just about the team at Worksport and anyone that you feel is worth mentioning for investors' interest?
Yeah, so we have a strong board of directors. We have one of our directors is well connected with the U.S. government. That's where we're able to find a lot of relief in being able to get government business and opportunities and connections. Our management team here at Worksport, we have a marketing director that's got 20 years of experience, that's doing everything that you see on our website on worksport.com and worksportinvestors.com. We also have a strong management team for plant management here in Western New York and sales. So there's no specifically notable names outside of people that know who these people are, but we've built a team of very strong and previously successful individuals. So what we do as a rule of thumb is we only hire those that have done. If we want to build the market for solar accessories, we're finding the director of sales as someone that comes from that background. I did Tesla Solar, I did Solar City, these types of things. I was the builder of that. So our management team, it has a high standard to enter to the company to help be part of the ground floor to build. And they're all those that have decades of experience actually executing on what it is that we need them to.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things about your company is that no one's trying to reinvent the wheel. You're taking what works and making it better. And I feel like, that's the best way to success and continued growth. So that's fantastic. Is there anything you want to leave investors with of why you're different compared to some of the other microcap or nanocap deals out there on NASDAQ, and why they should keep following the Worksport story?
More consumer goods. Consumer goods are always very exciting. Some of the biggest brands in the world were relating to consumer goods, obviously like Nike and Apple, etc. So we're in a market where people buy our product, and we're building from a humble foundation. So Sony, as a giant corporation, their first product was a rice cooker. Not very exciting, but look at Sony now. So with us, we're coming here saying, hey, we're building tonneau covers. Not overly exciting, well, at least not for anyone else but me and our team. We love them. But it's a foundational product. So what our value proposition is, we're going to take something that people actually buy. We're going to sell the hell out of it. And we're going to use that money to build the next innovation in power electronics or solar hybrid technology or heat pump technology, which we're working on as well. So we're going to use the money we make to fund the cool stuff we're going to do in the future. As opposed to a lot of issuers that raise a lot of money, have no idea of the capital markets, make a lot of mistakes, and then try to go for like the cure for cancer or a rocket ship or something. They try to go for the home run right off the hop. So we're building a foundational story with experience, and we're going to build off of that foundation a rocket ship.
For disclosure purposes, this podcast is a sponsored ad with Worksport Ltd. Worksport Ltd is a paid-for featured client on the Investor Ideas website.
To hear more Cleantech podcasts, visit the Cleantech and Climate Change page on Investor Ideas. You can find it on our top template. Also, Investor Ideas has a lineup of other podcasts and themes, including the AII, the Crypto Corner, our cannabis podcast called Cannabis News and Stocks on the Move, rated one of the top investor podcasts in the sector, Play by Play, a podcast looking at sports and esports news, and Exploring Mining. To listen to any of our podcasts, visit our podcast page on Investor Ideas at investorideas.com/audio. And a reminder, you can hear our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and most audio platforms available to you. If you like any of our podcasts, we would appreciate you recommending them or reviewing them on your audio platform. And to help you follow and track clean tech and renewable energy stocks, Investor Ideas has created a directory of publicly traded stocks in the sector. You can find that by going to our homepage, looking on the sidebar and looking at renewable energy and environmental themes, and you'll find our stock directories there. Investor Ideas does remind all of investors to read our disclaimers and disclosures on our site. You can find them at investorideas.com/about-disclaimer.asp. It is important to read these. And this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investment involves risk and a possible loss of investment. Thank you again and have a great day.